Okay, I did a video on this before, but that was of like the not even finished prototype version. Well, I decided since I have a version that I'm ready to sell and everything, even though I sold that earlier one. I'll stop babbling now. This is the Aural Condenser. It's a clone of the classic Boss CE2 chorus pedal. Really, it's a pretty straightforward clone, except I've added a bunch of switches and knobs, like I tend to do with my stuff. I also made some adjustments to the range of the speed knob, so that although I will want to change the taper eventually on future incarnations, you can now get both faster and slower speeds. So that's the slowest speed available. Here it is at midpoint. As you'll see, it's not the ideal taper for the knob, but you can easily get it where you want. Here's the middle position. I'll back down on the depth a bit. Sorry, you're probably getting a lot of glare on camera because I used pretty bright LEDs for this. So you can hear that it starts getting that faux Leslie kind of thing, which I really like. Then you turn it up even more. Which can sound a bit seasick, but if you dial back the depth. And if you really want to tone it down, this middle knob here, right in between the depth and the rate. Just dials back the wet signal and makes the dry signal a bit more prominent. If you turn it all the way. The wet signal is almost gone. You can still hear it a little bit, but it's almost gone. But if you turn it, I like keeping it around here or full. This is a bit seasick, so I'll turn that back. Okay, on to these knobs here. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Let me turn the depth up to make this more prominent. I'll turn the mix all the way so the wet's as prominent as possible. I'll turn the speed down. Okay, so this switch here is essentially a bass cut on the wet. So okay, you should definitely be able to hear the difference there. Hopefully that'll come across. Sorry for not playing anything interesting there, but I just wanted to show the difference. Why would you want a bass cut for that? Well, if you're using a chorus on bass, well, the dry signal you want to keep intact, but with the wet signal, you might not want as much of the bass frequencies modulating, so if you cut the bass frequencies that are modulating, well, all the frequencies that you want to have chorus on them will still go through, but it'll be the dry bass that you're hearing. So probably be better if I demoed it on bass, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't feel like moving things around on my floor at the moment to get that going. But it's an option, and so this switch plus the mix, blend, whatever you want to call it, control, useful tools for if you want to just have the subtler chorus, and just useful tools if you want to use it for bass. But this middle one here, you want to keep the mix all the way to the left, because this is basically a dry kill switch, which takes away your dry signal, leaving you just the wet signal. And anyone who knows anything about chorus, if you remove the dry signal, you're left with vibrato. So once you flip that switch, if you use the mix control, it becomes more like a volume control. So if you're going to have that switch down, keep this to the left. Now this is useful if you want just a standalone vibrato pedal. I mean, it's not the best sounding one, but it's an option. The waveform on the modulation in this pedal, I remember watching an episode of that pedal show where they said it was some kind of somewhere between a asymmetrical triangle wave and a square wave, so that would definitely explain the sound when it's just in vibrato mode, or it sounds like it's bouncing back and forth without going in between, but not quite a square wave. So that can be useful if you want to just have a vibrato pedal, or if you're using a wet dry setup, which I don't have at the moment, but you send dry signal to 1 amp and then send another signal going into this pedal and the vibrato mode to another amp, and you all of a sudden have like a sort of stereo chorus with, yeah, which, trust me, it sounds great. And put it back into chorus. As I mentioned before, in future incarnations, I'm going to make the taper of this so that the higher speeds are even more to the right, because the sweet spot should be in around there, but it's lower. Sorry if you can't see where my finger's pointing because of the camera angle, but this thing really excels at that slow sweeping thing. And then, if you want an even richer chorus, this is an intensity switch. You got to be careful with that switch because I'll show you why. If you turn up the speed too much, you'll want to turn down the depth to compensate. But it does give a nice flavor to alternate flavor. And with slower speeds, it certainly sounds quite nice. And remember, you have the blend control. If you really want to make yourself seasick, you can turn down on the vibrato mode as well. I think, well, that intensity switch mod that I added here, it's pretty much, when the vibrato is shifting between pitches, when you flip the intensity switch, it's basically pushing it an even further pitch, further from the reference point, which is the signal of the note you're playing. So yeah, you can hear it going further apart. Yeah, no, like, out of all the course pedals I've ever tried, which admittedly hasn't been a vast number, like this one that I've built, I can honestly say it's my most favorite sounding one. Like, it just sounds much warmer than the old MXR analog chorus I had. I tried a DoD one before, which sounded okay, but it didn't have a lot of headroom. But this thing, it just sounds nice and warm. And this one I'm putting up for sale right now because I kind of need the money to get started on a few more new projects. but I'm definitely going to be building another one for myself because, well, there's a lot of people who have negative things to say about chorus, and I can certainly understand that. But when you get a good analog chorus that you know doesn't have that saccharine like 80s sound, not that there's anything wrong with chorus tones from the 80s, but in general it was overused. If you get one that just has that warmth to it. So yeah, there's a little bit of dirt added on top. If there's one thing that another thing that I'm going to change aside from the taper of the rate knob, in future versions I may add a treble control there, just so that you can just a bit more fine tuning for the EQ in addition to the bass switch there. Because when you're using it with drive, it can get a little harsh, but right now I have it behind all my gain pedals, but actually I've had it beforehand going into drive pedals, and it actually sounds really nice there too. So play around before or after drive, distortion, fuzz, what have you, except for a fuzz face, keep it after a fuzz face. And what more can I say? It just sounds great. Wish I could keep it, but this has got to go. This one's a little pricier than my other pedals. I usually sell for around $150 new, but this is a design that uses analog bucket brigade chips, which are a little annoying to get hold of and a little expensive, so this is going to be $170. But if you get it, well, I'm hoping you won't be disappointed, because I'm disappointed myself that I can't keep it. So oh yeah, the changes I'm going to be making are maybe less bright LEDs in the future, better taper for the rate knob, and I might even do a double foot switch thing and double like 2 rates and 2 depth controls, so that you can hit a foot switch and have 2 different chorus settings. But that'll be an ambitious project for much later, depending on how many of these I sell. Okay, so that's the Aural Condenser chorus, and I've been using actually both my Bugera and Blues Junior plugged in at once, just for a wider spread of sound. Not that it'll make any difference on this, but I had them both plugged in and I was just playing around when I decided to do the demo. And I'm playing my Strat. The dirt you heard was at first the sub-nadier. I sort of classic plexi in a box dirt pedal design, and then a little bit of the Archetype Overdrive, my tube screamer type pedal. Anyways, I've talked long enough.